So here, we're up to V'lechayda Mashma. So it seemed like right here. What's going on? It seemed like there was two inyonim that he discussed before in the Sois. There is one that you're mamshich from Pnimius Atik through the level of Bittel, and the way it is nimshach all the ways lemato, that's through changing your natural koiches to becoming godly. So it's basically a two-step process. The first is in order to be able to reach Pnimius Atik, the Ein Sof of Atik. For that, you need to have the bittel of Chasidecha, the idea of bittel. And in order for it to be able to be nimshach lamata mata, for that you need the chassid changes his natural koiches to koiches elikim to godly. That's the way you're able to change the world, so that the world itself, not only because the nitzutz eliki overpowers the gashmi that it's mechaye, but the Gashmi itself, the Nivra, the Koyach HaPoel Benifal, the Nifal itself changes around. And the Rebbe asks now, why do we need this two-step process? Since we're saying that through the level of Bittel, then we create the ability, because of the Bittel, we create the ability to change around. And the Gilui Atzmus, that's the what is accomplished from the from through the bittul. So why is it that we still need to have the level of? Give me a second. I don't know. Give me a second over here. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I wasn't. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. So, anyways, so he says like this: "L'chayre mashma." So l'chayre, it appears shehahamshocha the pnimius atik hu al yidei habitl da chasidecha. That the hamshocha of pnimius atik, how do we mamshich? How do we get pnimius atik? That takes place through the bitl of chasidecha. So that's the hamshocha comes because how do we get to atik? Is the bitl of chasidecha. וזה שעל ידי המשוחס פנימיס עתיק יהיה הפך אל העמים, and the fact that through the המשוחס פנימיס עתיק there will be הפך אל העמים, הוא על ידי שהכויכס הטבעיים דהחסידים נעשים כויכס אליקיים. That is the, how do we change around the amim? That's through the koiches TV of the Hasidim that becomes koiches alakim. But tzorich lahavin, the Rebbe wants to understand now, why isn't it enough the level of bittul to accomplish that? The lechayre, we need to understand lechayre. Ze shal yidei hamshochas gilui pnimius atik yepechal amim. This, that through the fact that we draw down the revelation of pnimius atik, that brings about epech amim, that they should turn around. This is not something in addition to the revelation. That's included in the Gilui itself. The Kibon. Sha'amitis himotze yizborech. Hi hametzius shel kol hanimtsoim. Since the true Hashem's existed, that Hashem is the Himotzi Baruch, is in truth the Metzias of all Nimtzoim, Lochein, and therefore, so that alone, Al Yidei Hagilu de Pnimis Atik, through the revelation of Pnimis Atik, which is the Gilu of Amitas Himotzi Baruch, Yinis Gersh B'chol Dover Shemitziusei Lekus, so every item will feel that its existence is godliness. Kinal Sif Yudalef. I've said Yudalef. So just by the fact that you are Mamshich, Pnimius Atik, then inherently nothing feels itself a Metzias, because the truth is that there is no Metzias. Everything is godly. And when Hashem, the godliness, is revealed, then the Metzias is revealed of every entity, that it's not its own Metzias, but it's Metzias Hashem. Since through the bitl of Chasidecha that Gilui is drawn down, Lama tzorich gam is hapcha the koiches hativiyim shelo. Why is it necessary? Why do we always also need to turn around the natural koiches shalohem of the koiches of the nefesh habahamis, to turn around to become, or the koiches hativiyim, the natural koiches, to become godly koiches? It should be sufficient, the fact that you're the Gilui of Pnimius Atik, so that reveals that there is no entity besides Hashem. And the Rebbe explains, no, that the idea that you need to change around the Koiches Hativim to become Elikim is not just in order to be able to mamshich it all the ways down to the Koiches Hativim. It's in order to help bring down from Atik, because you can't bring down the Gilui Atik if there is a conflict, if there is a contradiction, if you cannot turn yourself around your natural koiches, then you can't bring down from Atik. It explains. The kivon shamitas imotzi yizbarech. He amitis hametzias dechol animtzoim. Since Hashem's truthfully, that's the entity of all creation. So we need, that is the entity. Lochein kishiyeshno mitzias ba'odom she'eino be'elokus. And therefore, if there is an entity, there is a part, there is an entity in the person which is not godly, that becomes a contradiction. It conflicts with the gilui which is drawn down with atzmus pnimisatik. Through the fact, by Chasidim, the Chasidecha, their natural koiches become godly koiches. The Yeshloimar. How does it become godly koiches? Al yidei shenirgash boy behelem akolponim. Then at least in an obscure way, he feels sha'amitis imotzi yizbarechi hi amtzias shloi. So he needs to feel that is the true presence of Hashem, or find the true existence of Hashem, is actually his existence. He is no different than the existence of Hashem. That feeling by the person, at least behelem, who amshochas hagilui de pnimius atik, that is what brings down the gilui pnimius atik. So the Rebbe asked, why is it necessary to also change around the koiches ativim to become koiches alikim in order to get the hamshachas pnimius atik? And he answers that if you don't change yourself around, you can't have the gilu pnimius atik, because your metzias remains in conflict with the gilu of metzias atik. It is only by turning around, by sensing that your metzias is the metzias amitis imotzei, that the hamshachas atik can come down and change around, that you yourself are godly. Hadgosh zakosuf b'chasidecha yivarchucha. So before we discuss the whole difference between Yerchucha and Naidoya, the Rebbe explains now why specifically v'chasidecha yivarchucha. They'll have the inyan of bracha as opposed to the level of tefillah. The Chasidim are mevarech. They bring down the level of gilui pnimi isatik. They're not mispalel for it, but they don't pray for it, but they bring it down b'derech tzivui. Shehamshocha shal yidei chasidecha hiloi b'derech tefillah, ela b'derech bracha. The way it comes down is not in a way of a prayer, but it's a blessing. Why is that? Because now we understand that there has to be in a way of total bittul so that you can command versus begging. Asking means that you're a separate entity. When we talk about prayer, which is the person asking, he asks for a flow from above. Nirgash, over there you feel the person is not godly because he is a separate and he's asking Hashem for his needs, asking Hashem for the hamshocha. But when a bracha that comes in a command, who gives you the power to command? That's the godliness. So they will force, it is the godliness that has the power to yivarchucha, to command. So, but then we had also the difference, the way the Rebbe brought down, that it comes not in a way directly of tzivui, but through Torah, like Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, he is mamshich, even through in a passive way. So now I say the zehu sheyiridas hagishomim shenimshecho al yidei Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. He talked about before the other Tanoim like Reb Pinchas ben Yair. He said, Ganoi, I'm commanding you to split or else no water will ever go through. He had to command him. Reb Shimon ben Yochai, he just was teaching Torah and the rain came around. So what's the Yiridas HaGeshomim? Wasn't through a command, but he was saying Torah. When does it apply? A command is when the person that you're commanding, whom mitzius nivdal me'ha, he's a separate entity from mitzvah. So if you have to tell the genoi to split, it's something which separate mitzias. The mezem movement da peula is begilui shenasu al detziva tzedukim. So from this is understood. So those acts that were openly through the tziva of tzedikim, kimoi. Reb Pinchas ben Yair yirsetziva lahanor shiach lekismein of meimov. Reb Pinchas ben Yair instructed the river to split its water. Da agam sherotzin. So atzadikim rotzin HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is what they want, is what Hashem wants. But still, because they had to command, so they needed to instruct, split. They need to tell the river to split. Because the world, in its own feeling, is a separate entity, so it's not a likus. So the Eibishter wants it to split. The Tzaddik tells it, which is the Ratzon of the Eibishter, to split. But you have to command it. It's two separate. But by Rashbi, Shaydei Sherashbi, Omar Drush B'Pnimis HaTorah. But through the fact that Rashbi says a teaching, a drush, in the inner part of Torah, that's nimshach gilui ha'atzmus. That brought down the revelation of Atzmus, the Amitis, Ahimotzi, Yizborich, Hiametziz, the Cholanim Tzoyim. He brought down this concept that the true entity of all the Metzias is Hashem. V'lochein al yidei amiris hadrush. And therefore, by saying this, the rain came down on their own without a command. He didn't even have to command. Why? Because he revealed that their Metzias is Atzmus. It's not two separate things that you have to be Mitzaveh. Not that you have to command, before we say command and tefillah is a different. Tefillah is an entity, and command means that you are godly, you could command. But that's not yet the ultimate. Ultimately, it's the idea you don't even have to command. The bracha chasidecha v'chucha she'en tzrichim litzaveh shetiyam shocha. Kinal siv daled. They don't even have to command that there should be a bracha. Ki habrocha de chasidecha yivarchucha koi de bracha yivarchu koi. To bench Malchus, to bring down Uhamshochas Pnimis Atik B'Malchus. We're talking about bringing down the Pnimis Atik Malchus. Ubedar Gezu Ein Shaykh Tzivui. Over there, you don't even need a command. Basically, when you come to the higher level, in which the world, and you bring down relative to Atzmus, you don't need to even command. The fact that we need to change around, he said before, the koiches hativim, that's in order, there shouldn't be a conflict. But the hamshoches, pnimius hakeser, which is the gilui ha'atzmus, that automatically shows that everything in the world is not separate, it's really godly, it's really Hashem, and therefore you don't have to command it, because you command something different, it is automatically. This is the way Rashbi accomplished through his teaching of Chassidus, of Pnimius HaTorah. And we don't even need that to be mamshich from Pnimius Atik. The world itself knows that it is godly. There's nothing else, and you don't have to command it. Yud Gimel. V'zeu podu b'sholem nafshi b'sholem davke. And this is the idea of podu b'sholem, in a way of peace, b'sholem davke. Not through war, but in Sholem. What does it mean? That nothing is lost. Everything is brought in through this great Gilui of Pnimius Atik. V'hainu shabdi betachlis hasholem v'hashlemus. That this redemption is in total peace and also complete. Shaloi nishar shum menaged klal. That doesn't remain any opponent at all. No opponent is left. Like not as it was in the journey, the travels of the Oren, in Moshe in the Midbar. Over there it says, over there it says, Hashem, let them enemies and the haters be scattered before you. Over there, the sorting out was in a way of war. That's why it remained a Metzias, an entity of enemies and haters. Now, they didn't remain in strength. They were scattered. They ran away. So that was in the times of Moshe Rabbeinu. There was a vecha, but yafutzu v'yanusu. V'gam loik Moshe hoya b'mei shloimeh, and not even the way it was in days of Shloimeh. The av shabirur hoya b'derech memela, even though the birur was automatically. Shloimeh was sitting in his kingdom, and the nitzotzes, the goyim came to him, were in his batter, and automatically Mikol Makoim, Nizbareru rak nitzotzis elu, which only these kinds of spark were sorted out. Shahoyo bahem eze inyan shel oir. They had some aspect of light in them. They had something to them. But when we talk about Pada Bisholim Nafshi, the full, that's the way it will be the ultimate way, the way it will be the Osulavi. Ki'im, Shagam Hanitzoitze Shenechshechu, even those sparks that have darkened, Yuchlalu bi Kedusha, should be included in Kedusha. Not only impacted the sparks, as the Rebbe brought out, but also the nifal itself. Even the created hanifal atzmoi, the nifal, the what was the consequence that came about from the power of the poil, the Gashmi, the created being. Should be in total unity, as it's going to be in the future. That is real peace. That is Bishalom. As it's going to be in the peace, that everything is going to turn around. That means Berabim, many were with me. Also the level of Rabim. Those who find themselves, those sparks that are in the public domain. Public domain means the domain which is opposing to Hashem. Like the Pasuk says, Ala Pasuk Nase Loshen Rabim. It says, let us make man. This is a plural. Even though Hashem alone made the man. And Moshe Rabbeinu said, why write, let us make? Hashem says to him, you write Nasa. And the one who wants to make a mistake, let him make a mistake. He thinks that there is plurality. Chaz v'sholem, let him make a mistake. But that's the way I'm telling you to write it, Nasa. So that means that the word Nasa, Rabim, is the Reitzalitos. And here we're saying, Kiberabim, even those that are Reitzalitos, those who are making mistakes, Hoyu Imodi. They also became with me. They unite with total unity. And this is what it's Rabim Hoyu Imodi. Rabim Hoyu Imodi Unisina Stama Pod B'Sholem. That's the reason. Why is it Pod B'Sholem? Because the Rabim were with me. Shabdi B'Sholem Hidavke. When is there a complete and peaceful sholem? When we have also the level of Rabbim, the kedusha, not only the sparks of kedusha, even those that are in the level of Rabbim, hoyu imodi, change them around as well. Similar to the saying of our sages, Agam Anshe Sholem. That even the people of Avshalom daven for David. That means turning around the Avshalom people. Rabim Hoyu Imodi. We said before, mistakenly, we're talking about Shol. No, we're talking about Avshalom. That the people of Avshalom were ispalel for David HaMelech. So, this is all the complete Bisholim when we turn around also the Rabbim. This is through the work, the service of learning Torah, occupying Gimel Chasod B'Tzibur. What's the connection? The Inyan Ha'isek B'Torah, Ha'isek B'Torah, Pnimiyas HaTorah. We're talking about the inner part of Torah. She bechinas Eitz HaChaim. That's called the tree of life. Loi kenigla the Torah, not as the revealed part of the Torah, shenis lapsha, be'etz hadas toivara, which dressed up in the etz hadas toivara. But here it's just pnimiyas haTorah, it's eitz hachaim, which means hainu shahabiru shal the pnimiyas haTorah, the sorting out that takes place through the inner part of Torah. Hu shalei b'derech milchama klal. It's not in a way of war at all. Gam loi kitzias hamelech v'alichos lemokom oiv. Even not. The king doesn't have to go out from his place and go to the place of the enemy. That's not the birur through Pnimis HaTorah is like sitting in your palace. Therefore, this brings about the complete Pediya in a piece of his battle Mitzias Oiv, that the whole existence of the enemy is this battle. The same thing is with act of kindness. Shegmilus chasodim mamshicha mepnimis hakeser, that Gemilus chasodim brings down from the inner of keser, but lebchinas malchus the malchus, until the level of malchus canal. I said before. The same thing is davening with the minyan shetfilo b'tzibur hikimayatfilo daseres yimei tshuva. Davening with a minyan is similar to the davening of the 10 days of tshuva. K'may merazal ala posik dirshu avayim b'imotzei, that seek Hashem when He is found, and the question is the Eibishter is always found, and we say the Eibishter is always found for a tzibur, but for a yochid also b'aseres yimei tshuva, kan leyochid, kan letzibur. For a yochid, especially, is be'esimotze, is during a seres yimei tshuva. Utfila b'tzibur hamshocha pnimis hakeser, and davening with the minyan, you bring down the pnimis hakeser, and that's the connection between all these strings to the pod of Beshalom, because pnimis hakeser is not b'derech milchama, but it's b'derech totally bittul of the mitzias. So based on this, we understand the connection of Pod B'Sholom to the Alter Rebbe's redemption. The idea of the redemption is to spread the well springs to the outside. The Inyan Hafotzes Hamayona Chutza, the idea of spreading the Mayonas to the outside, that even in the level of Malchus Shebemalchus, K'moishi Bebechinas Chutza, as it's in the level of outside. Yumshach L'shom HaMayones, to bring there the well springs. Bring the well springs to the outside. Lo yirak hamayim chayim hanimshachim HaMayones. Not just the living waters that are extend from the Mayones, Elo HaMayones atzmon, to bring them the wells themselves, which is Hamshochas Pnimius HaKeser. This is the Mayones. Lebchinas Malchus Shebemalchus Chulo, which is Chutza. This is what was accomplished with the Alter Rebbe's redemption, and this is what the idea of real Poter B'Sholom is, the Hamshachas Pnimis HaKeser to the Chutza. And this is the reason why when we spread the Mayonas to the outside, then a master, which the King Mashiach will come, as the known letter of the Baal Shem Tov, because this is what the Mayonas Chutza actually leads, that brings about that is bringing down the inner of Keser to Malchus Shebemalchus canal. And just like Oisek b'Torah Gnus Mispalim Matzibur, you've redeemed me and my children from the nations, meaning that complete level of Poder B'Sholom. Asher Oz Yeves Ruach Atuma Avim in Haaretz. Then the spirit of impurity Hashem will remove from the world. V'hoya Hashem lemelech Hakol haaretz. Hashem will be the king over the land. And that day Hashem will be one, His name will be Echad, because everything will be turned around. And this is what Afotzes Mayonis is being mamshich from Pnimius HaKeser, from the Ein Sof, from the Atzmus into Malchus Shebemalchus, into the Chutzah, to bring the Mayon outside in the Chutzah, which is the whole idea of Pediya B'Sholom. And this is accomplished through Torah Gmilus Chasodim and Tefillah B'Tzibur. And this is Berabim Hoyimodi, you're bringing in also the Rabim, those Rishus HaRabim, and you're turning them around, and they also feel that their whole existence is the existence of a Lakus. That all happens when we're Mamshich, the Chasidecha, and they're in a level of Yivarchucha, as you bring also the level of Pnimius HaTorah, which the Reb Shimon Bar Yochai just automatically doesn't even need the Yivarchucha, but it's all mamshich dehai madrega. So basically, we learned there is pnimius hakeser, there is chetzonius hakeser, pnimius atik, there is chetzonius atik, there is ro, the reishad lo yisyada. Then you have arich, which is the chetzonius hakeser, and then you have it all the hamshochas coming down to malchus. What malchus is lacking, the level of ashirus, but also ultimately getting from the level of pnimius hakeser, and it's coming down the koyach hapoyel benifel in malchus, shebe malchus in the chutza, and that's the hamshocha of the mayonis, and this was the geula of the Alter Rebbe. Okay, we'll leave it over here. And tomorrow we have, there's another piece over here, which is a hisofa, a sicha. We'll finish that tomorrow. The piece will finish tomorrow. That the primer is done, but this is an extra sicha. The Rebbe didn't answer everything that he questioned over here. Had some leftover things, so the Rebbe answered that later on in the sicha. So we'll do that tomorrow.
We'll do another time.
And then we'll move over to Hanukkah.
Yeah, after Hanukkah, yes.
No, not after. Why Hanukkah? Move over to Hanukkah. Hanukkah,
yeah. I will, but I will not be able to available during the Hanukkah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Okay. So Hanukkah, yeah. And by the way, there are in your talis there are little check sitting. I put it yesterday.
Oh, I didn't notice. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Are you going to be away or?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Huh?
Yes, I will be away.
All of Hanukkah?
All of the Hanukkah, yes.
Wow. Okay. Have fun.
Okay.
Enjoy Afreil Hanukkah. Okay.
Hanukkah.
Thank you. Bye.